All right, recapping the NBA games from November 2nd, 2025. 8 games to go through. Lots of blowouts tonight. Smallest margin of victory was 8 points, so not a ton of crazy lines since the players obviously weren't getting tons of minutes if the games aren't competitive. Starting off in OKC, the Thunder moved to 7-0, blowing out the Pelicans 137 to 106. Shea Gilgeous-Alexander came in averaging 34 points, 6 rebounds, and 6 assists. He had 30 points, 7 assists in 30 minutes in this one. Just another day at the office. 8 of 14 from the field, 13 of 13 from the free throw line. Lou Dort was out for this one, so they actually started a double big lineup with Jalen Williams at the 4. He had 12 points. Hartenstein had close to a triple double, 14 points, 14 boards, 8 assists. And then Brandon Carlson on a two-way contract. He essentially stepped into the backup center role. He had 11 points in 20 minutes, so one of his better games in his career. Worth noting, there's so many players that I have to get to on the ratings, but like there's just random players with like atrocious ratings. This 47 layup rating on Carlson is one of them. Um, Otherwise, finishing out for the rest of the Thunder, they had 8 total players in double figures. Basically the entire team except for like Caruso in the rotation. Wiggins, Isaiah Joe, Cason Wallace, and AJ Mitchell were all in double figures. Moving over to the Pelicans, they dropped to 0-6 on the year. Zion came in averaging 24, 6, and 4. I did get his player rating edit in for last year. It's not updated for this year or anything, but he came in averaging 24, 6, and 4. He had 29 and 6 in this one, so he's been all right. He's been not as great as he was the past couple years when he's been healthy. The team, it seems like, is just kind of checked out on Willie Green. The last 3 of their 4 games, they lost by 30 plus points. His job's probably on the precipice, but just finishing out the rest of the lines. Murphy, 19 points. Jeremiah Fears has been a bright spot so far, earning a starting job. 16 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists. He hit 4 threes. I've got him at an 80, which is a +7. From 2K Sports, Jordan Poole had an off night, 11 points on 2 of 11 shooting. Not a lot to be excited about in New Orleans. Yves Missi, I feel like he's a little bit overrated at a 79. Probably one of the more overrated, or not overrated, but probably one of the worst starting centers in the NBA, and they don't have a ton on the bench behind him. So they're not even hurt this year, aside from Murray. Last year they dealt with injuries early. They have some talent, but it feels like they just kind of quit on the coach. We'll see if there's a change anytime soon. Going over to the Sixers, opposite story for them. Last year they had a disaster to start the year. This year they are off to a 5-1 start, beating the Nets 129 to 105. Tyrese Maxey came in leading the league in points, averaging 35, 5 and 9 assists. He had 26, 6 and 7, kind of a standard game for him. As I mentioned, the players weren't logging high minute totals due to all these blowouts. And because it's a back-to-back, Embiid sat out. No Embiid, no problem. Don't need him to beat the Nets. Adem Bona started, but he had 4 fouls in 14 minutes. Otherwise, 23 minutes for Andre Drummond. Kelly Oubre, I believe, had a season high in points with 29. VJ Edgecombe, another solid game, 16 points, 3 steals. Trendon Watford had a little bit of a revenge game, 16 points on 7 of 9 versus former team. And Quentin Grimes actually had a really solid game, 22 points with a career high in with 13 assists. So he's been playmaking a lot more this year. He's essentially the sixth man on this team. So he's somebody who maybe contends for sixth man of the year if he keeps coming off the bench. Otherwise, the Sixers have been playing really well, and they're not even fully healthy, and they only have a part-time Embiid so far. So really good to see from them. The Nets, on the other hand, they likewise are winless. Dropped 0-6 on the year. Michael Porter Jr. He came in averaging 22 points, 6 rebounds, 3 assists. He had 17 points and then a career high in rebounds with 17. He has some pretty low rebound rates, but again, he played small forward next to Aaron Gordon and Nikola Jokic the last many seasons. Now he's playing the 4, and Claxton and all the other guys on the team aren't necessarily the board eaters that Jokic is. So probably got to boost his rebound rates up before too long. Notable lineup change for the Nets. They did not start Ben Saraf in this game. He was actually a DNP coach's decision. He's been awful to start the year, so I welcome this change, but they didn't start Igor Demon either. He was pretty much the only one of the rookies who played in this one. I think Drake Powell played like 4 minutes, but otherwise Demon 5 points, 2 assists, 15 minutes. He hasn't really done much for the Nets coming off their bench. So they ended up starting Tyrese Martin at point guard. Martin, for what it's worth, 0 points, 4 assists, 0 of 6 from the field. He's not a point guard at all. Cam Thomas, maybe, or Terrence Mann was probably the primary ball handler on that first unit. And with Martin just guarding the opposing ball handler. Martin, likewise, pretty much anybody who was on a two-way contract at some point just has atrocious ratings. A 63 layup rating, for sure, is one of them. Looks like low speed ratings as well. Yeah, not great. Got a lot to clean up. I am off for the next couple days, so hopefully I can get a chance to catch up on some of that. Cam Thomas had 29 points in this one. Mann had 17. Claxton 15. But they just weren't able to get enough stops on a really good offensive Sixers team. Going over to the Hornets, they actually blew out the Utah Jazz 126-103 on a back-to-back, despite the absence of LaMelo Ball. LaMelo Ball sitting out. Essentially, they're resting him for a back-to-back. He had what they termed ankle impingement, so he'll probably play the next game, is my guess, but they just wanted to get him a little bit of rest, not wear him out. He has obviously dealt with a lot of injuries in his career so far. So Colin Sexton actually got the start at point guard versus his former team. He had 10 points and 12 assists. Zion James also has really played well the last couple. 15 points in a start for him at the 2. 6 of 8 from the field, 3 for 5 from 3. His best game as a pro. So probably got to get some of his ratings up. Again, I don't know what's going on with these layup ratings. They're all way too low usually. 72 layup for him. And then some of these other ratings I'm sure I could improve upon versus maybe his defense. Perimeter defense 72 seems maybe a little low. I don't know. I got to dive in. And obviously 0 badges. I think most players in the NBA deserve at least 1 badge. They all are good at something, right? Ryan Kalkbrenner, he's good at a lot of things, but he was questionable to play in this game, as was LaMelo. Kalkbrenner actually played. He had a quiet game offensively with only 2 points, but he had 4 steals and 4 blocks, both of which I assume are career highs. So the 4 steals in 1 game should definitely get his steal rating up. Otherwise, blocks, yeah, he's been blocking a lot of shots so far. Moussa Diabate, 17 points, 12 rebounds, 22 minutes. Kalkbrenner himself only played 22 minutes, given he was probably on a little bit of a limits restriction, given that he wasn't 100%. But so Diabate had a really solid double-double in the extra time. And then Miles Bridges, he had his second consecutive good game, 29 points, was 12 of 12 from the free throw line, so it looks like he's starting to turn things around. And then Con Knipple, he had a good one, 24 points, 6 rebounds, 5 assists, hit 4 threes, essentially snapped his cold streak. His last couple games were under par. Going over to the Jazz, they dropped to 2-4 on the year. Lauri Markkanen, averaging 34 points, 7 rebounds, 2 assists. He had 29 in this one. Jazz were without Walker Kessler. He's going to miss the final 4 games of the Jazz 5-game road trip, essentially to get testing on his shoulder. Same injury that he missed time in the preseason with. He played a couple games in the regular season, and clearly it must be still bothering him. So Yusuf Nurkic started this one. He was nowhere near as good as he was in the preseason. And he played against his former team, was with the Hornets last year, had a quiet game, 3 points, 9 rebounds on 1 of 6 shooting. He's probably the likely starter for the rest of the trip, and as a result of that, Kyle Filipowski actually came off the bench rather than starting at the 4, essentially sliding into the backup center role, since they are a little thin without Kessler. Kevin Love also got some tick at center in this one. He played 14 minutes, had 3 points, 5 rebounds, and 5 assists. So he is moving the ball pretty well, just fitting into what the Jazz do offensively. Taylor Hendricks started at the 4 rather than Filipowski. He had 14 points, 7 rebounds. And then Keontae George was the secondary scorer besides Markkanen. He had 25 points. He's been really good this year. I got to get him into the 80s. I'll get a chance to edit Kessler and George in the coming days, which is something that I have been talking about for most of the week so far. Cavs, they go up to 4-3. They beat the Hawks 117-109. Donovan Mitchell returned from a 1-game absence. He came into this one averaging 28 points, 4 assists, and then he had 37 points, 5 assists, hit 8 threes in this one to lead the Cavs. DeAndre Hunter followed that up with 19. Mobley had 14. Jalen Tyson, not pictured here, so let's go hunt for him. He had 18 points, hit 5 threes. He's had a couple high-scoring games. Obviously, the Cavs are racked by injuries. I'll try to get a rating in for him before I have to head back to work on Wednesday. And then Larry Nance Jr., he actually got the start at the 5. Jared Allen still out. Previously, they started Dean Wade. That didn't go so hot. So they started Nance in this one. That didn't go so hot either. He had 2 points on 1 of 9 shooting in 25 minutes, but they got the win against the Hawks, and that's what matters. The Hawks, they dropped 3-4 in this one. They're obviously without Trae Young for the next month due to his sprained MCL. Jalen Johnson averaging 21 points, 8 rebounds, 5 assists. He had 23, 13, and 5 in this one. Porzingis, 15 points, 12 rebounds, 5 assists. Dyson Daniels, 18 points, 4 steals. Nickeil Alexander-Walker, 16 points, 4 assists. 3 of 11 from the field, but made up for it with 10 of 11 from the line. Hawks were only 6 of 23 from 3, and their starters were only 1 of 13. So it seems like with Trae out, there's just not enough creation in that first unit from these guys on the perimeter. And I did get in a rating for Jalen Johnson. I've got him up to an 85 overall. Was a +4 from where 2K's got him at. So far on the year, his assist rate is up 26%, which is +5% from last year. He's essentially the point guard on the second unit, running the offense with Trae out. Now he's running the offense on the first unit with Trae sidelined, I should say. When I meant out, I meant out of the game. So look for those numbers and ratings to continue to climb. So I boosted his vision by 5. His offensive consistency, I brought that up to a 90, which is 15, up 15 from where 2K's got it at. He's got a much better assist-to-turnover ratio than last season. Has 3 bad passes in 5 games, which is only 0.7 per 36. Last year, 66 bad passes in 36 games, essentially 2 per game. So less than 1 per game versus 2 per game. You guys can do the math on that. So he's taking care of the ball a lot better, which is really what they're going to need with Trae Young sidelined. And he's also finishing really well at the rim this year. Excluding this game, 20 of 24 on layups, which is 83%, and also 12 dunks in 5 games, which is more than 2.25 per game. That is a lot for a power forward. So that reflects a little bit in his layup and dunk ratings, and those might continue to climb if he keeps finishing at those rates. Let's go on over to Grizzlies. The Raptors. They go up to 3-4 on the year, won their second game in a row, beating the Grizz 117-104. Scotty Barnes averaging 21, 7, and 5 in this one. He had 19 points, 12 rebounds, 8 assists, nearly triple-doubled. RJ Barrett, 27 points in this one. Brandon Ingram, 26. And then Colin Murray-Boyles got another start at the 5. I believe that's his third in the row, filling in for the injured Jakob Poeltl. And he had a really solid line with 15 points, 9 rebounds, 5 assists, had 3 steals, shot 7 of 14 from the field. So probably got to get his rating in and updated. And it's worth noting that I did change his position, given that he has started at the 5 the last couple games, and it kind of makes sense because Agbaji has been really the backup for most of these games also. And then Mamu, he's not a good enough of a defender to actually. I feel like Murray Boyles is going to be ahead of Mamu in the rotation once Pirtle is back, and then I can just easily switch like Jonathan Magmo or even Mamu to like the 4, depending on whether the lineups change at all once they're back to full strength in the front court. And then going over to the Grizzlies, they dropped to 3-4. Ja Morant was suspended for this one. He's averaging 21 points, 3 rebounds, 7 assists on the year. So they did miss his offense a little bit in this one. Jaren Jackson Jr. led the team with 20 points, but Cam Spencer was the starter in Ja's absence. He had 4 points, 4 assists, 1 of 7 shooting in 27 minutes. I mentioned in my last video that the ratings on him, as they are with all two-way contract level players, are absolutely fucking atrocious. He played point guard for the Grizz in this one, and he's got, aside from really low speed ratings, help defense, pass perception, where's his ball handle rating? 66, lower than like the various big men on the team. Brandon Clark has a higher ball handle rating than Cam Spencer. Need I say more? So he's essentially at the top, pretty high on my list of guys to update. The guys who don't play a ton are actually very quick for me to update because they have like smaller samples and like not as much badges to like go through as some of the other guys. So I'll definitely get him updated in the coming days. Let's head on over to the New York Knicks, who got some revenge on the Chicago Bulls, beating them, giving the Bulls their first loss of the year, 128-116. Jalen Brunson came into this one averaging 31 points, 4 rebounds, 5 assists. So his assists are a little down this year as the Knicks are playing a more like balanced offensive system. And Brunson in this one, he had his 31 points, his 5 rebounds, only 3 assists in 32 minutes. So just reiterating what I just said, I think we're probably going to be dropping. Oh my God, I haven't gotten his rating in yet. Those are some fucking passing ratings. Wow, he is not that level of. He ain't John Stockton out there. You know what I'm saying? This is one of those like 2K pads, a lot of ratings to get certain players higher. Because they don't want to be bothered with doing quality badge work, which would actually get them rated appropriately. But yeah, interesting. Just another player that I'm gonna get some work in on in the coming days. Mikal Bridges, he had 9 assists in this one, so he has been playmaking a lot more next to Brunson. Handling the ball more comparable to like when he played with the Nets and had he was more ball dominant this year than he was last year under Thibodeau. He was essentially what he did in that year and a half with the Nets is what he's doing right now. So I'll try to get that reflected in his rating as well. This is actually the longest I've gone without like actually updating the Knicks. I live in New York, so it's an easy and fun edit for me. I just haven't gotten around to them yet. This is the latest in the season, so pardon me. These are not my Knick ratings. They're going to be a lot better and more detailed than this. But again, a lot of things to update, and their time will come. Karl Anthony Towns, his time has come. 20 points, 15 rebounds, 5 assists in this one. Only 5 of 11 from the field in 36 minutes. He's very passive this year offensively. He's not really fitting into the offense. Seems a little confused by his role, so I definitely got to get his rating down. And as a comparison, Cat with 11 field goal attempts in 36 minutes. OG Anunoby had 17 field goal attempts in 35 minutes, had 21 points. So that in itself, like last year, OG was really just a 3-and-D guy. Like their tertiary, like if they need a third scorer, sometimes he would be the guy. Whereas like it was predominantly a 2-man game between Brunson and Towns last season. Now it's anybody can do it, but really it's like feels like Towns is like the 4th option on most nights because he's just not getting the ball as much or knowing what to do with it or whatever. I haven't gotten to watch as many Knick games as I did last year so far, just kind of based on my work schedule and timing. Mitchell Robinson, he played again. He had 0 points, 0 for 3 from the field, 2 blocks in 13 minutes. Still on a little bit of a minutes restriction, it feels like. Better production from the bench in this one after they've been killing them for the last couple games. 46 points from the Knick bench. Jordan Clarkson, 15 points on 6 of 11 shooting. Josh Hart had 14 points, 9 rebounds off the bench. It was reported where he said in an interview that he has like nerve damage in his hand, and it's probably going to affect him, like his ring finger and like sometimes his middle finger and pinky. He loses feeling with it, like when he's not playing and when he is playing, just kind of randomly. So that probably is going to affect his jump shot throughout the year. He said that in this interview that he wants to either be a full-time starter or full-time reserve. He doesn't want to be like an in-between starter. He just wants to fully commit to his role. That way he can excel in it. So last year he was a full-time starter. This year it seems like he's going to be a full-time reserve. So we'll see. If he was playing like he did last year, he'd be a solid six-man option. But so far, maybe due to the finger or whatever, it hasn't really, and the back injury that he suffered in the preseason. He's working his way into shape. I think the 14 points was a season high for him scoring wise. So we'll see if he keeps it going. Landry Shamet also 9 points on 3 of 3 from 3. Only 2 minutes for Gershon Yabusele in this one. I'm not sure what happened there. Hopefully not an injury. I didn't see anything when I tried Googling. It might just be that like he hasn't been playing well and they didn't want to try him in the second half or whatever. But it's just something to keep an eye on, especially since Mitchell Robinson only played 13 minutes himself. So it seems like they just went with Cat at the 5 in this one. And then they don't really have an actual backup power forward. I guess Hart technically counts, but they have so many guards on the roster that like Bridges will end up at the 3 and like Anunoby at the 4 in a lot of their lineups, which kind of makes it hard for a guy like Yabu to get on the court, I think. Going over to the Bulls, they dropped to 5-1, their first loss. I don't have a ton of notes. I've covered them a lot. I'd say over the first couple games, nothing really noteworthy in this one. Josh Giddey averaging 22, 9, and 8, almost a triple-double. And he had an actual triple-double in this one, 23, 12, and 12. And then there were 7 Bulls in double figures, so no like crazy lines or anything, but essentially all of the rotation players in double figures: Vucevic, Buzelis, Okoro, Trey Jones, Kevin Huerter, Jalen Smith. Buzelis was 4 of 6 from 3, so good for him on that. His 3-ball was a little bit of a question mark. If he can improve on that, it's going to be good for him and the Bulls. Going over to the Phoenix Suns, they go up to 3-4 on the year and actually give the Spurs their first loss of the season, 130 to 118. Devin Booker averaging 30 points, 4 assists, 7 assists in this one. 30 points, 4 rebounds, 7 assists. And then Devin Booker, 28 points, 13 assists to push the playmaking in this one. And then again, lots of players in double figures. Grayson Allen, Ryan Dunn, Colin Gillespie, Royce O'Neal, Jordan Goodwin, and Nick Richards getting in on the action. And then going over the Spurs, 5-1. Wemby, he's human apparently. He came in averaging 30 points, 15 rebounds, 3 assists, but then actually didn't score in double figures in this one. Nick Richards outscored Wemby in this game. Wow. 9 points, 9 rebounds, 4 blocks, 6 turnovers for Wembanyama. 4 of 14 from the field, 1 of 5 from 3, 0 of 0 from the free throw line. So, everybody has bad games, but it's, when Wemby's on, it seems like the Spurs win, and when he's not on, they didn't get the win. So we'll see if they're able to pull things together if he has another off night, whether it reflects in the win-loss column or not. But the Castle essentially was the top player for the Spurs in this one, 26 points, 7 rebounds, and 5 assists. Going over to the Miami Heat, sorry, not the Miami Heat, the LA Lakers, they took down the Heat in this one. Going to 5-3 on the season, 130 to 120. Austin Reeves, he came in averaging 32 points, 5 rebounds, 9 assists, playing like an all-star for sure. And he had 26 points and 11 assists in this one, not dispelling those allegations at all. Luka Doncic had another solid game. Triple-doubled, 29 points, 11 rebounds, 10 assists, ending the 40-plus point streak, 9 of 22 from the field, 1 for 11 from 3, 10 of 12 from the line. If he hit a couple threes, he probably would have got it to that 40 piece. It didn't seem like they were able to stop him from 2. What is that? Yeah, he was 8 of 11 on 2s, 1 for 11 on 3s, and then 10 of 12 from the line. So, yeah, those pretty much his only blemishes were from 25 feet away. And then Jake LaRavia, he had another really good, solid game. 25 points, 4 steals in this one, 10 of 13 from the field. So I think some of his defense probably creating some easy offense. And DeAndre Ayton was actually a DNP in this one due to an injury. I didn't do any research on that. It doesn't seem like a major one. Probably just missing a game. Jackson Hayes got the start in his absence, and he balled out with 15 points in 32 minutes, 7 of 7 from the field. He applied for a Slovenian passport recently, not a joke, because he wants to try and play on the national team with Luka Doncic. So clearly Hayes loves Luka. And finishing off with the Miami Heat, they dropped to 3-3. Bam was averaging 23 points, 9 rebounds, 3 assists. He had a little bit of a quiet offensive game with only 17 in this one, 8 rebounds, 5 assists. Khalil Ware, only 7 points, only 12 minutes in this one. Again, I don't think it's due to an injury. They probably just went smaller with Bam at the 5. Jaime Jaquez had 31 points off the bench, so he probably saw a lot of time at the 4. He was 11 of 16 from the field, 9 of 13 from the free throw line, didn't attempt any threes. So he's also been playing really well for the Heat. Probably got to get him up to like a 79 or even maybe a low 80 once I crunch all the numbers. Pal Larson added 17 as well. Yeah, and that was Sunday night in the NBA. Thanks, guys, for watching. Feel free to comment. Let me know if there's any players that I need to get to in the next 2 days. Don't forget to vote on Election Day, Tuesday. I believe that there's... let me actually check this real quick, but the NBA doesn't have games on Election Day, right? Because they want people to, get out the vote, quote unquote. So I think if memory serves, we're going to have a big day on Monday. All the teams are probably going to be in action. Let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 games on Monday, and oh no, we have a couple on Tuesday. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 games on Tuesday. Okay, maybe it's only for presidential elections and stuff where they're super motivated by that. But all right, yeah. Let me know what you guys think. And I'll see you guys during the week. Thanks again for commenting on the videos. I try to engage as much as I can. Operation Sports is like a dead forum now, so we got to carry it on somehow. Outros are not my specialty. It's 6:40 in the morning. Time for me to go to bed. Thanks. Bye.